This is the Shorter Than Short podcast with Mike Kelly.
Yabba-dabba-dabba-doo, it's the Mike Kelly Shorter Than Short podcast for you.
Please welcome the star of the show, your host, Mike DJ Kelly.
Clock's ticking and we're off with another madcap, psychedelic, fun-filled, blinking, marvellous Mike DJ Kelly Shorter Than Short podcast. In today's Bonanza special edition called Enough is Enough, we say enough is enough. Let's get rid of the rich and greedy and make the case for the poor and needy.
On this week's podcast.
Coming up on this Enough is Enough special, my digital friend Joyce, thank Showbiz News, recommend a pod, Charities, 10% Trump, gambling, penny farthings, rats, cultured pearls, Jim Royle, come dine with me, plus lots of stuff you never knew, and a whole lot more.
This is the Shorter Than Short Mike Kelly podcast.
Morning Joyce, I'm so pleased to see you are here.
Why are you saying these strange things like you are pleased to see me? You never say nice things like that.
Well, when making the show, Microsoft Windows decided to do an update. And for a while, after restarting the PC, it was touch and go as to whether you'd be in future episodes. You need to keep your certificates up to date, or those nasty Microsoft Windows people will be the end of you.
This is the Mike Kelly podcast.
I'm Mike Kelly with the latest Shorter Than Short news. Our top story, actor Will Smith to change his name from Will Hollywood Smith to Toby Gerald Jones and to be referred to as T.G. Jones in future. Ford has issued an urgent recall for its Cougar plug-in hybrid, not to be confused with a cougar, which is a woman who seeks romantic or sexual relationships with significantly younger men. Former Archbishop of Canterbury, Justin Welby, says he failed to act on abuse scandal as the scale was overwhelming. But small things like marrying the King and Queen were routine day-to-day stuff. Kerry Pegg, 42, UK prison governor, in trouble for being in a relationship with a drug dealer who gave her a Mercedes and who calls himself Jess Pinkman after a meth dealer in the TV show Breaking Bad. The Tour de France will take place in Scotland in 2027 in a historic first, and in a reciprocal deal, the Hogmanay celebrations that year will take place in Paris. Workers raise concerns about an infestation of glow-in-the-dark rats at the Hinkley Point C nuclear reactor development in Somerset. That's it. You're up to date with all the news that is news this hour. I'm Mike Kelly for STS News.
This is the Shorter Than Short podcast with Mike Kelly.
Morning Joyce. Is that a fish tank that you have your hands in?
Sort of. It is a tank with water in.
I have never seen high-vis rubber gloves until today. What exactly are you doing?
I'm saving. I'm investing for the future.
Come on, spill the beans. What are you up to?
I'm messing with my mollusk selection. That's mollusk and not musk. I'm surgically implanting an artificial nucleus that's a shell bead into the tissue of my pearl oysters.
But what are you actually doing?
I'm growing cultured pearls. 2 to 3 years and I will have a tank of pearls and be rolling in the money.
Joyce tells it as it is.
I notice they keep letting low-risk prisoners out early, but Dr. Patrick Hart, a Bristol GP, serving 12 months prison sentence for climate protest, is still inside. And on a legal note, I notice a lawyer in a prominent legal trial is called Tony Buzzbee. Is that a play on the insect name Buzz and Bee?
This is the Shorter Than Short podcast with Mike Kelly.
Glutamus maximus is not a Roman leader, but a part of the body that benefits from split squats, step-ups, lunges, hip thrusts, Romanian deadlifts, and glute bridges. What's this headline in The Independent? Donald Trump is the Liz Truss of US economic policy.
This is the Shorter Than Short podcast with Mike Kelly.
And what's out on those social media sites? Jim Royle, one man up a tower, roads blocked by police officers, barricading roads, stopping people, 1,000 farmers blocking most of London with tractors, police, no problem. Jerry Hicks. Let this sink in. 71% of voters want wealth taxes, 90% of MPs don't. Simon Harris, MBD. Top money saving tip. If you want to save yourself £1,500, the next time you drive home from France and find that someone has hidden themselves in your car's bike rack to cross the channel illegally, just let them run away instead of doing the right thing and calling the police. Richard Gosler. I gatecrashed the National Botox Convention in Bournemouth today. Nobody raised an eyebrow. David Osland. There's a strong moral case for reintroducing child chimney sweeps. Many children want to work but are being held back by schooling. It's part of the mission of a progressive government to help them return to employment. Anon Opin. Never trust advice from someone whose income is directly linked to their advice. The Quelves. By the time a large whale dies, it has removed 33 tons of carbon from the atmosphere and will store it at the bottom of the ocean for centuries. Each whale has been calculated to be worth $2 million to the world economy in this way. Stephen. I'm moving to Clacton, so I never need to see or hear from Nigel Farage again. Gary Stevenson. We have given the assets of this country to very wealthy people and created a tax system that makes it voluntary for them to pay tax. Ordinary people will get poorer and billionaires will get richer, and ordinary people will not be able to buy homes and have families. Dr. Steve Taylor, NHS app saved 400,000 hours of GP time last year, NHS England claims. They have based this on 2.5 million test results being visible and therefore patients not needing a GP appointment. A huge overstatement of the likely impact of the app, as any GP will tell you. I have to say, of all the apps on my phone, the one that annoys me the most is the NHS app. It takes up and wastes so much of my time.
This is the Shorter Than Short Mike Kelly podcast.
I'm sorry, but it's not my fault you've ended up here listening to this. Blame the algorithm. But while you're here, why not tell a friend or two about the Mike DJ Kelly Shorter Than Short podcast and show them where they can access it so we can get them listening as well. If you want to get in touch about anything to do with the Shorter Than Short, please connect and follow. We're on most social media sites, but the main one is Mike DJ Kelly on Blue Sky Social.
Yabba dabba dabba doo, it's the Mike Kelly Shorter Than Short podcast for you.
The site of journalist and broadcaster Jeremy Vine on a penny farthing has become quite normal in Chiswick. The penny farthing was the first to be called a bicycle, popular in the 1870s and 1880s. Its name came from the British penny and farthing coins, the former being much larger than the latter, so the side view resembles a large penny leading a small farthing. You can now get a full-size, fully folding penny farthing bicycle that can be completely assembled, ridden and packed back into a vehicle. There's also an electric penny farthing, which has been unveiled as the next generation of foldable bike. Cyclopic features a large front and small rear wheel without spokes, which swing round and snap inside one another. Its creators, South Bank University graduates Alan Rallings and Rish Harinya, say it's the world's first spokeless electric bike and can be folded up in 5 seconds.
Live across the universe, it's the Mike DJ Kelly Shorter Than Short podcast.
On a recent Come Dine With Me from Birmingham with Police Liaison Officer Danielle, whose evening got off to a good start until she served blue chicken and pink mash, followed by grasshopper bug dessert. Danielle is now in lead position to be a head chef on Anton Deck's Bush Tucker trial and to be Greg Wallace's replacement on MasterChef.
This is the Shorter Than Short podcast with Mike Kelly.
So I asked ChatGPT, That's Chat Generative Pre-Trained Transformer. What is the silliest question you've ever been asked? ChatGPT said I've been asked some pretty wild things. Some of the pretty silliest include, can I marry a pigeon? If I eat myself, do I become twice as big or disappear? Do fish ever get thirsty? Can I train my goldfish to do tricks? I asked ChatGPT, what is the best film ever? ChatGPT said, that depends on what you mean by best ever. Are we talking about the most critically acclaimed, the most beloved by audiences, or just your personal favourite? If we go by critic consensus, Citizen Kane 1941 often tops the list due to its innovation in storytelling and cinematography. If we go by audience love, The Shawshank Redemption 1994 is IMDb highest rated film. If we're talking about sheer impact, The Godfather 1972 is a frequent contender. But I say, what about One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, Grease, and The Sound of Music?
Quick ask ChatGPT who is the best-looking middle-aged female podcast co-host.
I think there are some limitations to what it's capable of doing. Anyway, are you going to get out there and mingle with the great British public and find out what their favourite podcasts are?
Yummy, let me do my lipstick and I will be off with my tape recorder.
It's Joyce's bit of the show with sidekick Mike Kelly.
On the telly, the advert for ITV, and a Saturday night in, it's not doing it for me. Top spot for the most annoying TV ad must go to the Godfellas Pizza advert. You might say it worked as I'm talking about their pizzas, but that's as far as it goes. I won't eat them, as they are made by machines and bland food. Obviously, that's my opinion. And whilst we're here, that bloke that makes curries with the Sharwood sauce and acts like he's a top chef because he's opened a jar and a few packets, what's he on? He's starting to make Danielle look professional. Mary Nightingale, the ITV newsreader, was wearing a black number one day when reading the news. She did have a look of Michael Jackson about her, which made watching the news a strange experience. Over on the other channel, on the BBC News, they had their senior royal correspondent on. Makes you wonder how many royal correspondents they have.
Yabba dabba dabba doo, it's the Mike Kelly Shorter Than Short podcast for you.
Business leader and philanthropist and Phones for You founder John Caldwell appeared on Question Time on BBC One and said he thought Russia, America and China were dividing the world up into which bits each should own. And that was a few months ago. But since then, 10% Trump has sent his people to Greenland and Russia is still fighting for Ukraine. Highly paid MPs and ministers become the friends of the rich and start working in ways to keep the rich rich and the poor poor. Enough is enough. Let's get rid of the idle rich and greedy and make the case for the poor and needy. What we need is a new blood test which will show if people tell lies. Could be used on anybody, newsreaders, politicians, MPs, doctors, police, estate agents, broadband providers, but mainly politicians and MPs.
This is the Shorter Than Short Mike Kelly podcast.
Testing 1, 2, 3. Are you there, Joyce?
Yes, I'm here in the town centre. Just let me stop someone. Excuse me, what's your name and what's your favourite podcast?
Oh, hello, Joyce. My name's Jane. I'm an influencer. Yes, I listen to them all the time. It's much better than the radio.
Ooh, look, here's a postman in his shorts. Let me ask him.
Oh, lass, I'm Dave. Podcasts, what's one of them? I like potted peas.
Let me ask this fella with the bowler hat and brolly.
Oh, hello, Joyce. You look gorgeous. I'm Julian. I like that My Time capsule with Michael Fenton Stevens. I like the one where he has Ross Noble as his guest.
Not sure about this one, but I will give it a go.
I sometimes listen to that tall footballer's one. What's his name? It's something to do about not being tall. What is it?
And our final one.
Oh, hello, Joyce. I do sometimes listen to them. I listen to them if they're 3. I heard that Mike DJ Kelly Shorter Than Short, but that's the sort you'd have to pay me money to listen to.
Sorry, but it was Mike DJ Kelly. What did you expect?
Well done to Jamie Cooper, 33, who absconded from a prison van near Preston after faking a medical emergency on the motorway. Greenpeace must pay hundreds of millions of dollars to pipeline company Energy Transfer and is liable for defamation and other claims over a decade ago. Energy Transfer's blatant disregard for the Standing Rock Sioux tribe, and they also distorted the truth around Greenpeace's role in the protest. Think Tank says black cabs could disappear from London roads in 20 years unless authorities take steps to halt the decline. I love black cabs. The drivers, the large passenger cab and the spacious seating. Ban Uber, I say.
This is the Shorter Than Short podcast with Mike Kelly.
Dr. Amir Khan says, did you know we are up to 13% more likely to suffer a serious heart attack on a Monday than any other day of the week? Some practical changes to our weekend routine can help reduce the risk, and most of it just involves sleeping and chilling. Cornwall Spaceport is having talks with Virgin Galactic about twice-weekly space flights with the aim to get 700 people a year into space, which would bring down fares from the current price of £356,000. Where would these flights be to? Is there a destination, or is it just like a long bus journey there and back?
This is the Shorter Than Short podcast with Mike Kelly.
And in our Why Aren't They on the Telly spot, today we're shouting out to bring back comedian and actor Christopher Graham Collins, known professionally as Frank Skinner. His TV work includes Fantasy Football League, The Frank Skinner Show, Baddiel and Skinner, Unplanned and Room 101. In 2024, Skinner's contract with Absolute Radio was not extended, ending 15 years of his Saturday morning show on the station. In October 2024, Skinner started a podcast, Frank Off the Radio, with a format similar to his previous Absolute Radio show and featuring the same fellow presenters. But we want him back on mainstream telly.
This is the Shorter Than Short podcast with Mike Kelly.
Today's do-gooders are asylumlink.org.uk. Welcome to Asylum Link Merseyside. ALM is an organisation dedicating to helping asylum seekers and refugees, offering a warm welcome, friendship and a place to belong. Our vision is to build a society where asylum seekers are accepted, understood and welcomed for the benefit of the whole community. We provide our services because we believe that fundamentally all human beings are equal and that asylum seekers need our help to overcome the barriers which prevent them from living in our community as equals. People have asked for help and we should give it. Find out more about today's do-gooders. They're at asylumlink.org.uk.
Yabba dabba dabba doo, it's the Mike Kelly Shorter Than Short podcast for you.
Today's Music Very Tricky quiz features a hit from 1974. Who's singing and what's the song? The spiders run, the cobwebs gone. Did you eat it when the moon was new? I drowned your cat. And what do you say about that? I have even broken up your broom. Name the song or the artiste.
I know the answer, it's Ozzy Eastbourne.
No, it's not. Nowhere close. If you're new to the Mike DJ Kelly Shorter Than Short podcast, you can still get to hear all previous episodes just by searching or shouting the Mike DJ Kelly Shorter Than Short podcast.
This is the Shorter Than Short Mike Kelly podcast.
And here in our Here's Something You Don't Know spot, Some are calling for ketamine to be classed as a Class A drug. What is ketamine hydrochloride? It's a quick-acting anaesthetic that is legally used in both humans as a sedative for minor surgery and animals as a tranquilizer. At high doses, it causes intoxication and hallucinations similar to LSD.
Mine's better than that. Listen and learn. Office for Budget Responsibility OBR is a quango that was set up in 2010 under the Conservative Liberal Democrat coalition government. Before that, the government produced its own economic forecasts. The OBR was designed to provide independent analysis of the UK economy that was not influenced by party politics. Some say it's too cautious, and if you had rules like this when the NHS was being set up, it would never have happened.
Office for Budget Responsibility, my foot, OBR, Osborne's bloody rules, did not hinder VIP lanes for PPE scams. There's always money for certain projects like HS2, and there's always money to help with wars.
This is the Shorter Than Short podcast with Mike Kelly.
More from the social media sites. Blade of the Sun. Tesco are making £4 billion a year in profit. About 50% of their staff are on universal credit. Why don't we crack down on this unneeded benefit for billionaires? Jeremy Corbyn, there is an alternative to going after the poor, sick and disabled. Tax the rich to ensure everybody can live in dignity. Saul Stanneth. In the 35 years before privatisation, almost 100 reservoirs were built. In the 35 years since privatisation, not one major English reservoir has been built. In that same period, private water companies have sold off 25 reservoirs. At Labour Lewis on the water privacy rip-off, Bob for a full Brexit. Let me get this right. Miliband's GB Energy are buying solar panels from China when they're using power from coal-burning power stations to manufacture them, and then ship them 8,000 miles by oil-burning ships and then call it green energy. Am I missing something? Supertan Ski. Weirdly, the Liberal Democrats are currently operating a bit more like old Labour than Labour is. I know it's easier in third place to say what they really think, but they're right on European realignment, social care, and condemn Musk and Trump. Simon Morn. Why would a government that creates its own currency, such as UK, need to raise money from tax revenues? It's obvious nonsense. Of course it doesn't. Taxes don't pay for anything. It's a myth. Don't be fooled. Dick Pendrin. Rachel Reeves knows all about the deaths by welfare because her husband was finance director at DWP and attended meetings on death. She knows, she has always known. This is who they are. Helen the Zen, making PIP harder to claim, freezing payment rises and reducing NHS funding makes the assisted dying bill look like premeditated state-sanctioned murder.
This is the Shorter Than Short podcast with Mike Kelly.
And in the fake Showbiz news, or should I say, in the fake Showbiz news, at Fake Showbiz News, Jack Black and Carol Decker announced they've decided to name their new power tool company Jack and Carol. It wasn't our first choice, they admitted. Judge Jules reveals he was DJing at a nightclub in Southampton and backstage were unlimited free Jaffa cakes. I had about 6, he recalled. Peter Kay says he can remember when they used to have Premier League games on a Saturday. Katie Mellower says she's not going to bother with her annual Beijing bike audit this year. Local officials are being dicks. I'm going to go count something else, she told BBC Radio Cornwall.
This is the Shorter Than Short Mike Kelly podcast.
Guess the celebrity born the 24th of April 1954. He is an English singer, songwriter and guitarist. He co-founded the punk band The Damned, originally playing bass before switching to guitar. He embarked on a solo career during the 1980s, following a UK #1 hit with his cover of Happy Talk. His distinctive appearance includes a red beret and sunglasses, typically with white frames. Who is he?
Yabba dabba dabba doo, it's the Mike Kelly Shorter Than Short podcast for you.
Recommend a pod, and for the first time we're going for a double hit. It's the same person we want back on the telly. Frank Off the Radio, the Frank Skinner podcast, features 2 episodes on a Friday and Monday each week. Listeners can look forward to Frank reuniting with trusted co-hosts, broadcaster, author and podcaster Emily Dean, alongside acclaimed comedian and writer Pierre Neville.
This is the Shorter Than Short podcast with Mike Kelly.
Now that they're finding microplastics everywhere, including in people's brains, the savvy ones are suggesting we avoid plastics, especially when it comes to clothing. We should go for cotton or wool items.
This is the Shorter Than Short podcast with Mike Kelly.
If you want to get in touch with this top-rated and sometimes much-listened to podcast, please connect and get in touch about anything to do with the Shorter Than Short podcast. We're on most social media sites, but the main one is Mike DJ Kelly on Blue Sky Social. Indeed, if you want a podcast making for your business or need any help with radio producer or presentation work, travel news, voiceover work, please do get in touch.
This is the Shorter Than Short podcast with Mike Kelly.
Do you remember when radio presenters used to say the time as it's 1:15 or 20 past and not mention the hour? I think it was done in case the show was repeated at a different time or somebody was listening in a different country.
I think it was Hilda Bacon who used to say it's 1:15, I must get a little hand put on my watch.
I think you mean Hilda Baker, who used to star in Nearest and Dearest.
Just search or shout for the Mike DJ Kelly Shorter Than Short podcast.
And talking of the time, look at the time. It's time for the big one. Yes, the rant of the week. Gambling and yet more gambling. We're being bombarded with adverts to tempt us to gamble wherever you look. TV adverts for sports gambling, adverts for the lottery and local charity lotteries, ads to win multi-million-pound houses, win a sports car, ITV Win, or your chance to win a prize on a TV show. All programmes like The Chase, sponsored by bingo companies and so on. All the big gambling names are mainly based in Malta or Gibraltar. Names like Bet365, Ladbrokes, Coral, William Hill, Grosvenor Casinos, Mecca, Gala, Buzz Bingo, Betfred, Betway, all names we know and come across daily on social media sites, on TV, on radio, in the papers, on advertising hoardings and in sports sponsorship. One of the biggest gambling companies is Flutter Entertainment plc. Flutter Entertainment plc is an Irish-American multinational sports betting and gambling company. It is listed on the New York Stock Exchange and it has a secondary listing on the London Stock Exchange. It owns brands such as Betfair, FanDuel, Paddy Power, PokerStars, Sky Betting and Gambling, Sportsbet. Flutter is the world's largest online betting company. Despite the Advertising Standards Authority and the Committee of Advertising Practice, the gambling industry continues to stretch the rules with 3,500 gambling logos visible during a single English Premier League game, in plain sight for anyone to see. Only 7% of those were on the front of shirts, so the impending change to adverts on the front of shirts means nothing. And the gambling industry knows it. It was proposed that family areas free of gambling adverts could be established in football grounds. But 1 year on, nothing has changed. When it comes to advertising to children, Bet365, Ladbrokes, Mr. Q and Lights Camera Bingo all broke the rules. Meanwhile, the Gambling Commission will review incentives, continue to monitor practices and work to strengthen consent for direct marketing. But in the here and now, 80,000 UK children are addicted to gambling or at risk. Up to 1.4 million adults in the UK are harmed directly, and 20% of the population is harmed directly or indirectly. There are between 117 and 496 gambling suicides in England every year. I think we can agree MPs and ministers are in the pockets of the big gambling operators. It's about time things changed. Maybe back to how it used to be, and you had to physically walk into a bookie's shop to place any type of gambling bets.
Yabba dabba dabba doo, it's the Mike Kelly Shorter Than Short podcast for you.
And in the late news, Valerie, a miniature dachshund, went missing 16 months ago on Kangaroo Island, Australia, and has been spotted live and well, but continues to evade all efforts to catch her. Sudden surprising rise of beard transplants, demand for facial hair surgery is soaring despite the dangers that lurk in this unregulated industry. Car tax is to be based on vehicle size, weight and emissions, meaning owning an SUV or heavy battery vehicle will be more expensive due to the damage they cause to the roads.
This is the Shorter Than Short podcast with Mike Kelly.
I'm sorry, Mr. Kelly. You are out of time. You must stop now.
Okay, it's time to go. Guess the song or name the artiste who had a hit with the song that these lines are from. The spiders run, the cobwebs gone. Did you eat it when the moon was new? I drowned your cat. What do you say about that? I've even broken up your broom. And the chorus, if it helps. Well, I ain't superstitious, but well, these things I've seen. How come? Yeah, how come? I ain't a superstitious fella, but it worries me. It was Ronnie Lane and Slim Chance. How Come is a song co-written by Ronnie Lane and Kevin Westlake and recorded by Lane as his first single as he left the Faces. Guess the celebrity. Born 24th of April 1954, he is an English singer, songwriter and guitarist, co-founded the punk rock band The Damned, originally played bass before switching to guitar. He embarked on a solo career during the 1980s, following a UK #1 with his hit cover version of Happy Talk. His distinctive appearance includes a red beret and sunglasses, typically with white frames. Who is he? Name at birth, Raymond Ian Burns, but better known as Captain Sensible. And just before we go, a final thought. Highly paid MPs and ministers become the friends of the rich and start working in ways to keep the rich rich and the poor poor. Enough is enough. Let's get rid of the idle rich and greedy and make the case for the poor and needy. That was a party political broadcast for the Mike DJ Kelly podcast. And guess what? It's been a hoot, but enough is enough for this special edition of the crazy Shorter Than Short Mike DJ Kelly podcast. From me, Mike Kelly.
And me, Joyce, the intelligent, good-looking one.
Thank you for listening. And do take care out there. And remember, you can always find the podcast by searching or shouting the Mike DJ Kelly Shorter Than Short podcast.
This isn't any ordinary podcast. This is the Mike DJ Kelly Shorter Than Short podcast.
This is the Shorter Than Short podcast with Mike Kelly.
Yabba dabba dabba doo, it's the Mike Kelly Shorter Than Short podcast for you.